I'm a little overwhelmed. I got a little emotional. That was awesome, guys. I want to thank all of you for coming. I'm the junior high principal. My name is Dani Boreland. And someone came to us and said, you know, we didn't have, COVID happened, we didn't have a Veterans Day ceremony, we didn't have one. And I said, all right, we'll make this happen. And I came up with a plan, and I talked to our student council, and I said, hey, can you guys do this? And the students ran with it. Student council advisor assisted them, but from here forward, it's going to be student-led, and they're going to do all of this for all of you because you've done so much for us. So, without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Audrey Stoller. She is our student council president.
The Star-Spangled Banner, our national anthem. It is a symbol of the bravery and resilience that Americans possess. The song, which was originally a poem titled The Defense of Fort McHenry, was written by Francis Scott Key on September 14, 1814. Francis Scott Key was a lawyer at the time that Great Britain and the United States began having trade disagreements. On June 18, 1812, the United States declared war on Great Britain. After one of Francis's friends, Dr. William Beans, was taken prisoner by the British in an earlier battle, Francis went to Baltimore and found the ship he was being held on. Francis was able to negotiate his friend's release, and the British agreed to release both men on one condition. The British ordered them not to return shore until after the attack was finished. Francis Scott Key was stuck on that British ship, the HMS Midland, until after the Battle of Fort McHenry. Francis wrote that first verse of that iconic poem on the ship as he watched the American flag waving over the fort, proudly displaying that the United States had not given up. The poem was originally written on the back of a letter. Most people only know the first verse of the poem, but there are actually four. After Francis was released, the poem was printed on several Baltimore newspaper covers and spread quickly across the East Coast. In November 1814, the poem appeared under a new name, the Star-Spangled Banner. Soon after, the poem transformed into a song. The melody was written in 1775, and the song honored the great poet Anacron, who loved wine, which led to it become commonly used as a drinking song. People started singing the Star-Spangled Banner as a way to show patriotism, but it was nowhere near as popular as the tunes of Yankee Doodle and Hail Columbia. In 1890, the U.S. military started using the Star-Spangled Banner for ceremonial purposes, which included the raising and lowering of colors. In 1916, President Reagan Nicelley signed an executive order declaring the Star-Spangled Banner of the United States of America the official national anthem. It was not until 1918 when the Star-Spangled Banner made its debut in the sports world. It was played at the beginning of the Chicago Cubs versus Boston Red Sox game. Today you will hear America's national anthem before every sporting game and event. Even with all of this, the United States of America did not technically have a national anthem. In 1929, Ripley's Believe It or Not stated that the United States of America did not have a national anthem. Americans desperately wanted one, and this led to a 5 million signature petition sent to Congress asking them for a national anthem. The petition worked, and in 1931, President Herbert Hoover made the Star-Spangled Banner the United States' national anthem. Our national anthem truly is a symbol of what America is all about. Freedom. It represents our history, beliefs, and that we never give up. Please stand as the middle school choir sings the Star-Spangled Banner.
Can you see by the dawn's early light? On November 11, 1918, the fighting came to an end on the Western Front. Germany and the Allies signed the armistice. This was the first step in World War I. This became known as Armistice Day. 1 year later, on November 11th, in America, President Woodrow Wilson announced the first commemoration of Armistice Day. This day included many parades and public gatherings. On November 11, 1921, an unknown soldier was killed in war was buried at the Arlington National Cemetery. After this, Congress passed a resolution that this reassuring day should be celebrated with prayer and thanksgiving. In 1954, Veterans Day was established by President Eisenhower. After this, the Uniform Holiday Monday Act was passed by Congress to make Veterans Day to the fourth Monday in October. This also moved Washington's birthday, Memorial Day, and Columbus Day to a Monday. The first Veterans Day under this act was on October 25, 1971. Many states disapproved of this change and continued to celebrate Veterans Day on November 11. In 1975, it became clear the original date had a large significance to America. Because of this, President Gerald Ford signed a new law returning Veterans Day to November 11. Starting in 1978, on each Veterans Day, a wreath-laying ceremony is held at the tomb of the unknown soldier in Arlington National Cemetery. There are also parades and celebrations going on around the country to recognize Veterans Day. The common misunderstanding of Veterans Day is confused with Memorial Day. Memorial Day honors soldiers who have died in battle or veterans. Veterans Day is for all American soldiers, living or dead. On behalf of the Student Council, we would like to thank all veterans for their service. Your sacrifice is not worth this. Next, third grader Nolan Rosairez will be reading an essay about Veterans Day.
Hi, my name is Nolan Rosairez, and the title of the paper I'm reading is called Veterans Day. Veterans Day is a day we celebrate for those who have served in the Army, Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard, Navy, and the National Guard. Veterans are people who built the United States of America, and we are grateful. My grandpa was in Vietnam, and my great-grandpa was in World War II. Sadly, they have both passed away, but I will still always remember them on Veterans Day. World War I ended on the 11th month, the 11th day, and the 11th hour, and that is why Veterans Day is celebrated today. Veterans Day is very important to everyone, because veterans protect everyone.
Now our fourth grade essay winner, Reagan Nicelley, will be reading her essay.
My name is Reagan Nicelley. Dear veterans, thank you for everything and anything you will do. Many of you died to protect us and fought for our rights. I'm grateful because you fought for many people who couldn't fight for themselves. You put your life on the line for other people. I can't tell you how much this means to me and other people. You went to war knowing you may not come back. Your family missed you and prayed for you to be safe and fighting. You stayed strong when America needed you the most. You fought for people and lost your friends and family members due to watching your family go to war. I know some people will never admit it, but you were scared and someone else scared. We are proud to see you guys come back, but we are so proud of the ones who did not. Thank you for everything and everything you will do.
We have two really good fifth grade essays, so they weren't able to pick one. Our first one to be read is going to be read by Baughman.
heroes. That is not just people with some superpowers, but they can just be people like firehouse, police officers, and ambulance. A veteran is a hero because they risk their lives for us and solve our country. So we can have free schools and the right to vote. So I think a veteran is a hero. Veterans are people who have gone to war or who are out war, but they don't have to be out war. They could have been in Norway and active in the military, or they could have been at boot camp training to fight our country. Even if they didn't go to war, it was a hard decision to make without and friends to solve and protect our country. Veterans Day is important because that's the day that we celebrate people who went to the Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, and Coast Guard. People who risked their lives for us. This day we honor them for it. Some of them are still fighting for us, so thank you, veterans. Send a veteran a card for us, simply keep them in your thoughts as they serve our country. Thank you all again. This is really fun.
Hello, my name is Anna Baughman. Veterans are very important to me because they made a lot of sacrifices for us. This essay is about how veterans fought for us and what Veterans Day means to me personally. I first want to thank all those who gave us freedom. Veterans Day wasn't always titled Veterans Day. It was originally named Armistice Day by President Woodrow Wilson. It was then renamed by President Eisenhower Veterans Day and made a national holiday to thank those who have served our country and fought for our freedoms. We should be thankful and thank all those who have served and died for our freedoms. Veterans are really kind of nice because they have or are continuing to sacrifice their lives for America. Veterans Day is so important because a lot of people have died or been injured while keeping America safe and free. They deserve a lot of respect. Both of my grandpas were in the Army. My grandpa Larry got forced to fight when he was about 18. While doing research for Veterans Day, he shared that he hated hurting people, but he had to. He jumped out of planes and parachuted into places he's never been to. I have another great grandpa. He fought in the Korean War. Fortunately, they are all healthy and strong. I am proud of my family who have served and makes me appreciate our freedom even more. I hope you take time, not only today, but anytime you see a veteran, and thank them for their service. I also hope you take time to realize all the freedoms we have because of veterans and what they have done for our country. Thank you, veterans.
Our next essay winner is from 6th grade. Please welcome Ross Myers.
Veterans Day, a holiday celebrated on November 11th across America and some other countries. A day for remembrance of any veteran's service, a day full of poppies, and a day full of importance. So here are some reasons we celebrate this oh-so-important holiday. First, we talk about how this honors the living veterans here with us today. On this day, veterans often get honored by coming to parades, ceremonies, in schools just like ours. We do this kind of stuff to remember to remind them their service did not go unnoticed, and we appreciate their bravery for defending our country. This can also go for them to live a day where they can forget about the bad parts of their service, parts that nobody should ever have to endure they went through it to protect us. We hope this can help them focus on the bravery and heroism of what they did for us. So one of the 3 reasons we celebrate Veterans Day is to commemorate the honor and sacrifice they gave for our country. The second reason we celebrate Veterans Day is to remember the deceased veterans. We must do this because they paid the ultimate sacrifice in foreign lands for us. This can also go for veterans who died of natural causes, but we still want to remember, for they still gave up something for our country. So we can do this by reminiscing with our families about these brave men and women. We can do this by putting flowers on their gravestones, or just putting up an American flag to remember them. So always remember the fallen and the living on this day. This is also a time where we can convince young men and women to join our country and serve their country like their elders. By showing them the valor of many others, we can get them to join the branches. This is important because we need more patriots to defend our country in uncertain times of the world like right now. And as manipulative as it sounds, it still teaches younger generations skills they will use forever. Maybe they will teach their children these skills, and maybe we will live in a world because of these people where it will be more peaceful. We will not have to worry of men saying they will threaten our lives, our beliefs, our freedoms. So with remembrance for those who have served, we produce new patriots that we will remember forever. We celebrate Veterans Day to remember the service of the living and deceased, and so we can produce more future veterans. Forever we shall honor the heroes of our country, and God bless their souls in heaven. Now have a happy Veterans Day. Now next up, Dani Boreland reading for Riley Cox.
What is Veterans Day? It's a time of year to honor anyone in the military service. This day is to honor veterans who either passed or survived a battle. It is mostly believed to honor the living who made sacrifices to their country. Veterans Day was originally called Armistice Day, and it originated on the 11th hour of the 11th day on the following month, when an armistice was signed. This armistice was in 1918 and involved Baughman. It marked the 1-year anniversary of Pease without fight. Every fallen soldier and the ones who lived or have passed since then are still getting honors today. Some were able to go home to their families after retirement. In 1954, President Dwight D. Eisenhower changed the name from Armistice Day to Veterans Day so it honored all veterans rather than commemorate the end of a single war. Women's Veterans Day is held on June 12th, marking the anniversary of the Women's Armed Service Integration Act, which President Harry S. Truman signed into law on June 12, 1948. Some states observe the Women's Veterans Day, but is not yet a nationally recognized holiday. The United Kingdom and all the other Commonwealth countries observe Remembrance Sunday on the second Sunday of November. It's customary to observe 2 minutes of silence to honor people who died in war, a tradition that originated in South Africa before the end of World War I. Next, let's read the 8th grade essays in the Sunday.
This essay is written by Estie, Pease. Many people know what a veteran is, someone who has served in the military force, but to others, a veteran is a lot more than that. A veteran is a person with a caring spirit, a brave heart, and a courageous mind. A veteran is someone willing to risk everything to keep the United States of America safe. Veterans Day is a holiday honoring men and women who have served in the U.S. Armed Forces on the anniversary of the Second World War. We celebrate Veterans Day to remember those who are in service now or have passed away. Sacred Day is sad. Thank and honor all those who served and appreciate all the veterans who have fought for our freedoms and these families. If we didn't have veterans and soldiers, our lives would be drastically different. Veterans
show the world how great and strong the United States of America truly is. Veterans make sacrifices every day to fight for what we believe. They protect and die for our freedoms and for our country. Without veterans' protection, we would not be able to have our rights today, such as owning our own businesses, freedom of speech, and other constitutional rights. The veterans help keep the United States of America the best country on earth to live in, and make it possible to guarantee freedoms to all people. Veterans make sure Americans can go to sleep at night knowing that we have a world of happiness. Veterans are all around us in every way. They live like ordinary people on the outside, and on the inside, they are powerful people who have devoted their lives to securing freedoms for us. Whether they are a family member or a stranger, they have fought for us. They care so deeply about our lives, freedom, and the freedom of the country that they were willing to die for us. When I see a veteran, I think about all that they have done for me. I feel an extreme sense of pride for all of our officers. I am grateful to live in a country that inspires socialism and social good. Veterans Day is celebrated to remember and honor men and women who are in service now, present, and soldiers who are passed away. Veterans and soldiers fought for our freedoms and the freedom of this country. Without veterans and soldiers, we might not have the rights we do now. Veterans may just look like ordinary people, but they are people who have devoted their lives to making sure our country, the United States of America, is safe. We celebrate Veterans Day to remember what soldiers and veterans do for the country, and we need to remember what we do without them. So whenever you see a local veteran or soldier, tell them thank you. Thank you for all you've done for this country and for keeping the United States of America safe. Let's give a round of applause for Estie. Next up is Jack Daeger, who will present our committee.
The U.S. Navy, officially established October 13, 1775, is the most powerful naval force in the world. It was created after the Second Continental Congress, after they passed a resolution creating the Continental Navy. After the Revolutionary War, the Continental Navy disbanded when American goods were under threat by barbarian pirates. This created a permanent U.S. Navy. Still, in 1882, the U.S. Navy mainly consisted of outdated ships and designs. As a result, Congress approved building more modern steel-hulled armored cruisers and battleships. The United States Navy became larger and larger and soon had as many men and women in uniforms as the British Royal Navy. In the 1920s and 30s, aircraft carriers were built. The United States entered World War II later after an attack targeting our Navy by Japan. By the end of the war, the Navy had over 1,600 warships. Today, the Navy is the undisputable leading naval force in the world. It takes a lot to really understand what naval soldiers have to endure every day. Thank you so much for defending our freedom, persevering economic prosperity, and keeping our seas free. We can't thank you enough. Would kids that have had a veteran in their family please stand? Maybe. Maybe not. Please sit. Would the veterans from the Navy please stand while your anthem is played? Next up, I'm welcoming Remington Buroff to speak about the Army.
Hello, my name is Remington Buroff, and I'm a student council member, and my speech is over the U.S. Army. The U.S. Army is a crucial part of our military. It protects the freedom we have today. On June 14, 1775, the U.S. Army was established and organized by the Second Continental Congress roughly 1 year before the Declaration of Independence was written. Our Army was originally called the Continental Army, and it was led by General George Washington, who went on to become the first president. It contained 22,000 militia troops around Boston and an additional 5,000 in New York. When the Revolutionary War came to an end, the Continental Military Force. As a result, Washington created sentiments on a peace establishment, an evaluation on the strategics facing our new country. Washington believed the United States only needed a small, strong militia to face threats. But instead of having different militias in different states, Washington recommended one militia join together to grow all of the states. However, Congress ignored his opinions, and the Army disbanded with the exception of only 25 men. Native Americans' threats arose, and there was an increase of the standing force. By the time Washington was elected president in 1789, 595 men were in service. During the Civil War, men in uniform rapidly increased. They relied on volunteers for this, but eventually had to rely on conscription to keep up with the demand for soldiers. Today, the Army is in charge of almost all the military statistics. It has grown and is one of the most powerful military armies in the world. I want to thank all the veterans from each branch here, but especially those from the Army. Students, if you have had a member who has served or had served, please stand. You can please now sit. Veterans who have served in the Army, please stand as the anthem. No, I work at the cemetery, and every day when I do that, I always see the flags waving. And every time I pass by, I can only sit and wonder what their lives are like, and that they have died for a cause that many others would not accept. Next up, please welcome Audrey Trejo. She will present about the Coast Guard.
Hello, my name is Audrey Trejo, and I'm a member of the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard was founded on August 4, 1790 in the United States, and the founder was Alexander Hamilton. It was founded after Congress commissioned the construction of 10 ships to enforce fellow tariffs and prevent smuggling, and it also was the first afloat on force. It is known for the nation's oldest continuous Nicelley service. The Coast Guard was originally called the Reagan service. Later it became the Reagan Cutter service, and in 1915 it became the Coast Guard. Douglas Audrey Monroe was a United States Guardsman who received the Medal of Honor for an act of extraordinary heroism. During World War II, Douglas Audrey Monroe is the only person to receive the medal for actions performed during the Coast Guard. Some further practice is the Coast Guard's marching song, which is a Latin phrase for always ready, and has been the official march of the United States Coast Guard since 1928. The Coast Guard is the nation's premier maritime first responder instrument in minimize the loss of life. Also, search and rescue people who are in distress. The Coast Guard manages 6 major operational mission pillars: the maritime law enforcement, the maritime response, the maritime prevention, the maritime transportation system management, the maritime prevention, the maritime security operations, and the defense operations. The Coast Guard is the smallest military rank with 41,700 full-time active duty service members, along with 7,800 part-time reservists, and 8,300 civilians, with also 31,000 auxiliary volunteers. It enforces all applicable federal laws on high seas and water in the United States. It enforces regulations for the promotion of the safety of the United States. It also develops and upgrades age navigation to maintain the safety. Students who have or have a member in the Coast Guard, please stand. Veterans who are in the Coast Guard, please stand for your anthem.
The Air Force was first officially created on September 18, 1947, under the National Security Act of the same year. This branch was in action long before that though. The first war that the United States equipped planes for was World War I. In 1907, the U.S. Army Corps developed an aeronautical unit with Lexus, suiting both the Allies and Axis powers in order to bomb each other while in flight. Since World War I, the Air Force has expanded tremendously. Some other wars that Air Force have played major roles in are World War I, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. Without their help, these wars could not have been won. Each and every plane and pilot played a role that was vital. The stage was set, and they took their calls. The Air Force required more than just pilots to function properly. Whether in healthcare, engineering, strategy and operations, meteorology, or another position, these are all key roles. But the Air Force takes tremendous intelligence, skill, strength, and endurance. When a person thinks about flying a plane, their thought process may be that it's easy. That's not necessarily true. To be a pilot, you have to be ready for anything. Problems in flight, errors in communication, mechanical problems, etc. Any wrong movement can cause an issue for those around you or yourself. And it's the pilot that has to make the right decision in the right moment. Incredible things have been made possible by the Air Force. The United States security, victories, struggles have endured, and lives have been saved countless number of times. I'd like to thank any veteran here today, especially Air Force. You've all done so much for our country, and I'd like to thank you for your service. Any student with a family member that is or was serving in the Air Force, please stand. Please do us all a favor and thank your family members for their service. You may now sit. Now, any veteran that served in the Air Force, please rise for the anthem played by the Paulding High School Band. Thank you to the high school band. Next, Mrs. Sloan will lead the elementary in a song called Grateful Nation by Julius and Penny. That was wonderful. Next up, we have Brooklyn Verfaillie presenting about our flag's history.
Many people know about the flag with 50 stars and 13 alternating red and white stripes, but not many people know about the original flag. The original flag was put on June 14, 1777 by seamstress Betsy Ross. It had 13 stars to represent the 13 colonies that the North States remained, and more stars were added until 1960 when all 50 states were discovered. The colors of the rack and the flag have different meanings. Red symbolizes hardness and valor, white symbolizes purity and innocence, and blue is for vigilance because we're in justice. There are different traditions to the flag. One tradition is that when a military member dies, the flag is laid on the casket. This represents the service of the fallen soldier and is to honor his or her memory of being in the military. Another tradition is to three bolts in the flag. This represents unity, honor, and country. One last tradition we do with the flag is given to a loved one or a veteran. This is done on behalf of the President of the United States and also the armed forces. The flag is a symbol of the sacrifices made in honor of service. Please stand as Mr. Baughman and Audrey demonstrate how to hold the flag as been reported and place the tax.
I would like to thank all of our students. You guys were amazing. Thank you to our student council, our elementary beautiful rock stars. The song was beautiful. My voice is a little sketchy, I'm sorry. This concludes our ceremony.